Hi, everybody. This is Jim. Dennis will be with me in a second. We have a YouTube channel now called Cooking by Ear with Jim and Dennis. And today, thanks to Janet Zabo, thank you so much, we're going to be making Her Majesty's favorite scone recipe.
Huzzah! 20 pounds for the Queen!
The Renaissance Festival is over, so I hate to be a killjoy. Anyway, so we're going to make this, we've been arguing whether it's been scone or scone. We're going to say scone. At least
Mama just killed a man. Wrong Queen?
Yeah. Anyway, we're very excited because this will be our 12th installment on our YouTube channel. Again, Janet, thank you so much for sending us this recipe.
Actually, more like 18. I think we've done 17 up to this point.
Wow.
I know.
Anyway, so we're going to get ready. We're going to guide you through it, and then we'll have our scones and the special topping, which will be a secret until you see it happening.
And I'm going to stay dressed.
One of the things that is required for this recipe is buttermilk.
You may remember earlier in season 1, check out the YouTube channel, we did a buttermilk pie, which was also called a desperation pie.
Right, yes. And for that we found, what was it, like a pint?
Yeah,
of
there was
buttermilk?
a pint or a quart of buttermilk. It was perfect.
Yeah, you don't need a whole lot of buttermilk hanging around.
This time we went to the store and the only thing they had was a half gallon, and frankly we need a half cup. So we decided to make our own.
Yeah, we looked up on the internet and we found a substitute buttermilk or a buttermilk substitute. It works both ways.
Basically, to get a cup of buttermilk, you use a tablespoon of lemon juice, and then you fill it up to a cup with regular milk and stir it, and that acidity will turn the milk basically into buttermilk equivalent. In this case, we need a half cup. So that means 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice, and then the rest is milk. Should we just do that?
Yeah, I also want to really, I want to honor Dennis Curley for changing the metrics on the recipe into, what, pounds?
We went from metric to imperial, I believe.
Which seems only appropriate for the Queen's scones.
Favorite scones.
Anyway, let's show them how to do this, okay?
Let's do it. All right.
Now the instructions on the internet say that we should put the lemon juice in first. So we're going to put in 3 half tablespoons.
Teaspoons. 3 half teaspoons. So as Jim is doing this, I will say 3 half teaspoons makes 1.5 teaspoons, right?
I remember fractions.
Which is half of a tablespoon, basically. There we go.
Right.
Because we're only making a half of a cup. And so now that the lemon juice is in there, he's going to add the milk.
And I'm adding how much milk?
Well, it says actually 0.6 cups. So go to a half cup and then just add a little bit for luck.
I also want to say that I feel like these Pyrexians were made for left-handed people. Thank goodness for left-handed people. Hey, Sarah Trotta, Stephen Brooks, Carol Ekman. But maybe it's time for me to try to empathize with left-handed people. So I put it up to what?
Half cup. You know, it's easier if you just put it on the counter and just...
I'd rather not.
Okay. So Jim, how does this recipe work?
Okay, so we have 3 cups and 2 tablespoons of plain flour right here. We have 5.5 teaspoons of baking powder in the ramekin. We have 6.5 tablespoons of butter, which Dennis cut up, very nice. We have 2/3 cup of sugar, which seems like a lot. We have 2 whole eggs, which we will be getting out when we assemble this. We have our faux buttermilk. And we are, right now, rehydrating some golden raisins. It calls for sultanas, or sultanas? What are they?
I think they're sultanas, which is basically
Sultanas.
golden raisins.
Yeah. Again, learning. Anyway.
Jim, do you want to say anything about why it's all these measurements sound odd? Like 3 cups plus 2 tablespoons of this and 5.5 teaspoons of that. What? These were originally in grams, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, and the queen is also very particular.
Oh.
I want to thank Melinda Hughes again for the dry measuring cups. I thank Mary Beth Wadding for the remarkable aprons. Lots of people to thank. All right, so we're going to be putting the flour in the big bowl here. Oops. And then we're going to add the baking powder from the ramekin. Tons and tons and tons of sugar. Not quite sure why. And then we're going to be adding the butter, and then I'm going to turn this into a breadcrumb consistency. Now, Lisa Heldke, who has been one of our advisors, when we were making pastry, one of the things that she said we were doing incorrectly is that we were mixing the butter with the flour with warm hands, and that counterbalanced the benefit of using cold butter. But I don't know if that makes a difference here. And you know, cold hands, warm heart. My hands are really warm.
Okay, so Jim has turned the dry ingredients into a bit of a crumbly dough. I've now got 2 eggs and our faux 0.6 cups of buttermilk. I'm gonna mix these together with our little whisk. Thank you, Melinda Hughes. And then we're gonna add this liquid to the dry mixture, and Jim is gonna continue to work his magic by hands. Because you know what? The Queen would insist this be done by hand.
You may be wondering why these. Well, first of all, Janet Zabo sent us this recipe. Thank you, Janet. But a couple things I want to say. My grandparents on my father's side, they were both from England. Grew up in England, didn't move to Canada until they were in their 20s, and then down to the States. And the other side of my family, of course, is German and Irish, so, you know. And then Janet, I know Janet from AFS Thailand, so I want to say hi to Janet, to Gloria, to Stephen, to Barbara Becker, to Tom Nerea, and Martha Boyd. Hello.
So Jim is now going to take the liquid and the dry mixture and continue to work them by hand. As I said, and the instructions say until it is smooth. How does it feel right now, Jim?
It doesn't feel smooth. It feels granular.
And gross.
It does feel gross. You know, the Queen might want it this way, but she certainly wouldn't do it herself.
I don't think so. So the sultanas have rehydrated. They've plumped up a little bit. They've been sitting in hot water for about 30 minutes. Jim has done a great job here with the getting the dough to the right consistency. So now we're going to mix these bad boys in. I'm sure there's a more effective way to do this, but since I'm going to get my hands dirty anyway, let's just go for it. You know, the day's going to come when I'm going to meet the Queen face to face, and I'm going to say to her, Your Majesty, because I'm polite to her, Your Majesty, why do you prefer sultanas in your scones or scones to any other particular type of currant or date or anything else, or just a plain old, you know, black raisin? I'll get an answer, and I'll be back and I'll share it with you. Anyway, I feel like I've pretty much, oh, one of these got away. Let's get him. I've got this pretty well mixed together, so the sultanas are evenly distributed. The dough feels great. Good job, Jim. And the next instructions say, remove the dough from the bowl, press it flat, and then let it rest for 30 minutes. As though the dough has been doing any of this work. So anyway, so I've got the dough out of the bowl. I'm taking it over here to my parchment paper. I am going to press it, flatten it a little bit. Yeah, and then we're going to cover it. I've got a little cling wrap here just for that purpose. Go to sleep, something, something. Da, 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 da,
All right, so the dough has rested for a half hour. It's going to rest for another 20 minutes after it gets cut. What's going to happen is Dennis is going to roll it out on this parchment paper, and then we're going to cut the dough into triangles about an inch thick, and then we will egg wash them and then put them in the oven. Now, earlier I mentioned that this recipe came from Janet Szabo, whom I met through AFS, which is the American Field Service. She was a year student in Thailand. I was a summer student in Thailand in 1977. So I also really want to thank the Pentumpo family in Bangkok who let me come into their house for a summer and bring my cheer. Anyway, and thanks too to Karen Connolly for helping me keep Thailand alive. Appreciate it.
So I'm going to flip this so that it's between 2 layers of parchment paper. And ta-da! Roll it out here till it's about an inch thick. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to do that much just to take a gander. And it's probably the proper thickness. So it's looking like we're not doing a whole lot of rolling here.
Some of you may know this, but I was in geometry honors in 1973 at Riverside Polytechnic High School. And Dennis has employed his geometric knowledge by turning this into a square. I'm going to cut it into 3 different strips like this. Does that look about right? That looks about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cut that like that. Okay, and then one more. The key is not to be afraid of the dough.
Show the dough who's boss.
Exactly. And then cut it into triangles like this, right?
Yep.
How about that? That's pretty incredible.
And once you get one off, you can just go ahead and put it on the cookie sheet.
So Dennis, I've dragged the viewers into my family heritage, my high school foreign exchange experience, my problems with math, although I didn't say what the problem was, it just didn't go as well. I did not go into trigonometry honors, let's just say that. And I have also talked a little bit about, the surprise that's going to happen. So do you want to share with the reader some of your personal history around the scone, and also what the surprise element is?
I would say the first time I actually had a real scone was on a family trip to Victoria, Canada, which, as some of you know, is a little town on Vancouver Island, not too far from Seattle. You take a ferry from Seattle to get there. Beautiful gardens in Victoria called the Butchart Gardens. Whoa, we're pressing it awfully close. Anyway, here, take a look at how well these came out, by the way. Anyway, there we had scones with Devonshire cream and also lemon curd. So we are going to, surprise, make a quick lemon curd, which is pretty simple actually. It's butter, it's sugar, it's lemon zest and lemon juice and thyme. So I've added the lemon juice, the lemon zest, the sugar, the 3 eggs, which I neglected to mention a moment ago, and the butter. And now, Jim, we're just doing what? We throw it all in the saucepan and cook it?
Yeah, we throw it in a saucepan, we cook it for 6 minutes or so. We have to wait until it holds a, what is it? What do they call it?
To hold marks from a whisk.
Marks from a whisk.
The first bubble appears on the surface.
Yeah, that sounds...
What?
I was going to say poetic, but it doesn't sound that poetic.
So, I am taking over the lemon curd while Jim is doing a little egg wash over the top of the scones. Ooh. We love our silicone egg wash brush. Who's that from, Jim?
No, that's from Melinda Hughes. We also have been using a lot of our silicone utensils from Lori Miller.
Amazing.
And Mary Beth, again, thanks for these.
Thank you all.
Amazing, amazing apron. Our curd is soupy. Well, here we are. We have our scones. A lot of them turned out nicely.
Look at this. Golden brown. Here, I'll... Golden brown on the top and on the bottom. You can see the raisins, yes?
And some of them, they came out okay.
Might have burned one rack.
So
that's okay, but we should taste the good one.
Yeah, why not?
And the lemon curd now, will eventually set up and be thicker, but time waits for no man,
who
time
has
is future.
time? Yeah.
All that
Yeah.
stuff.
You want to go first?
I do. Shall I? All right. I've already shown you the scone. Smells very nice. Smells scony.
Ooh.
Look at that. Oh, it looks like a scone. With, you know, as you'd expect a scone. Oh, so it's two. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. A little bit of the lemon curd.
That's not so bad.
It's not so bad. It's thick, but it's not quite thick enough. That's okay. You know, it tastes like a scone. Like, great. What more could you ask for? Maybe Her Majesty's onto something.
All right. So here we go. I have one of the ones that is not overbaked.
The raisins are nice in there.
Yeah.
Tastes like a scone.
How about that? Right. It's a little bit late in the day for me to say this, but I've never been a real fan of scones.
Glad we did this.
Mm-hmm.
Cats will pick that up later.
Mm.
What do you think?
The lemon curd,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we can call it lemon curd.
No.
More like a lemon sauce. But
The
it's
lemon
not bad.
sauce. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, you know,
Well done.
we're Americans, so, what do we know? But, Janet, thank you so much. And we have a whole bunch. It looks like some of them could survive
Mm-hmm.
a time with the USPS, so maybe we'll mail you some, and they probably won't be that different. The curd, though, will have said by the
Yeah.
time it reaches you.
Definitely.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, hey,
Oh, wait. Oh,
check out our YouTube channel.
yes. This show is apparently season 2, episode 8. Something like that. And all of the season 1 episodes are now on our YouTube channel, so we hope
They've dropped.
they've dropped. Check us out.
Oh.